And we're live, and it's 2016. This is the Crafty Boys, episode whatever the hell. And today, we're drinking beer that we were supposed to drink 3 weeks ago, but Christmas got in the way. I got sick. Dave was just weird. And Locke got on a plane and flew away. So, yeah, we're back. Say hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hey.
So let's get right into the beer before we talk about anything else.
I won't fit in the glass.
I've got this beer. This one.
Mill Street Vanilla Porter.
And I'm going to open it now, and then I'm going to pour.
Now I should point out this is a nitrogen can.
Damn it!
And that's what can happen with a nitrogen can. So it's best to sort of open. The can has to be cold, and you've got to open it up, maybe close to a sink or something, just in case. Don't wait too long to pour it into your mug.
That's okay. About half of it poured out by it on its own.
I did
complete with auto-pouring mug. Oh, damn it. Yeah. Oh, this is the worst pour I've done in a long time. So, Locke, if you already drank this beer, what did you get this week?
I'm just drinking whatever's in the fridge, dude. Well, I got a house sound. I got a moose head.
Whereabouts are you? You're in Toronto?
I'm in Toronto. Yeah.
What house sound did you get?
House sound lager.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
So it's going to show you the head that I got. There you go.
That's actually really nice.
That is a
now,
decent
mine kind of poured the same, but I did mine before we started, and it's kind of gone down a little bit. But it was nice and creamy like yours is.
All right, so what do you guys think?
I like it. It's really
I
smooth.
have already drunk this beer. I got mine. I drank it. I thought it was delicious. It's got like that nitro pour Guinnessy texture, but where Guinness is kind of a dry porter, like a stout. This is sort of desserty. It's like kind of.
Oh, that vanilla definitely takes it down with being a dessert beer. Yeah.
It's sweet
I'm
and
not really
caramelly.
tasting the vanilla myself, but
What? Hey, Dave, look up what the international beer units say about this beer.
oh god, I would say it's not very high at all.
I can tell you it's 12.
Is it 12? I would say that's the lowest
know.
one we've ever had.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
But
I would imagine
seems
it would be pointless to have an IBU reading for this beer. There's absolutely no bitterness to it at all. It's malty. It's
well,
it's
I
good.
think that's
good.
getting
I
a
really
little,
like
a little extreme, maybe, but definitely it's the beer units is going to be quite low.
Okay, so vanilla, it's a porter, so it's sort of dark. I don't know. I went with. It kind of reminded me of it was sort of like one of those chocolatey beers, but it can't be chocolate if it's vanilla, right? So what? How do you reconcile it? Is it sort of like an ice creamy kind of a taste?
Yes.
well, it
Almost,
definitely has that creamy texture. Yeah, I suppose.
It's very smooth.
It is very smooth.
This I would argue this is perhaps the smoothest we've had on the podcast.
Now, I will point out, when I bought this, this comes in single cans. Where I bought it was $2.99 a can.
It only comes out in cans for over here too.
Right. They also had other selections in the nitrogen infused can with the widget type of dealie. One of them was the cobblestone stout, which I also purchased for the same price, and I've already had that one, and it was exactly like a Guinness, only better, in my opinion.
Better.
Whoa.
Better.
Why was it better? Why was
it just had more depth of flavor to it, and I know that's hard to imagine, but I thoroughly enjoyed it more than I do a Guinness, and I like Guinness, but this was just way better. So if you're a Guinness fan, I highly recommend trying the Mill Street Cobblestone Stout. Highly recommend. I can't say it enough.
That's
This
what
one's
I'm
good
gonna
too.
definitely want to check out. What's the alcohol on that?
5%,
It's a 5%er.
and the international beer units are 29.
29.
29?
That's what it says on the website. It's very important that we understand the international beer units. Glassware.
we have no
the
street
preferred
cred.
glassware is a pint shaker,
Mhm.
and serving temperature should be between 4 and 8 degrees for the vanilla porter. And I gotta
But
say,
the thing is, with the can the way it is, if you try to open it at between 4 and 8 degrees,
yes, I'm all too familiar with the
it's going to
accidents that can
explode.
happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right?
it's definitely ever since we really discovered that drinking stuff out of a bottle was actually kind of taking away from the beer experience. I gotta say, it oh yeah.
Okay, you know what? Now that I've had about 2/3 of it, I'm really tasting the vanilla
Mm-hmm.
in sort of like the aftertaste, sort of like it's sitting in there. Whereas I didn't taste the vanilla really at the beginning. I'm really tasting it now, which is interesting.
The brain in my brain. What was I gonna say? The glassware I have is apparently the right one.
Mm.
Alan, you've got a humongous glass there. And Dave, what are you drinking out of?
It's one of them goblet thingies.
Okay, I gotta confirm this because I've got two pint shaker designs here. So one that looks like the glass I have, but the other one is what I would think of as a sleeve.
Mm.
So I don't know. That's kind of interesting. That something about the consumption of well, actually, alcohol in general, because there's glasses for brandy. There's the red wine glass, the white wine glass. But for the longest time, I never really thought about beer as being something that really had to deal with glass. Because you could drink it out of a bottle, it'd be fine. Or out of a stubby. I miss stubbies. I really wish stubbies still existed. But
It's hard to find.
well, true. But I don't know. Ever since we had that experience back in August with the cucumber beer, it tasting like major ass out of the bottle. Moment we pour it into the thing, it was all fine. So I don't know. I kind of wish that we had a bit more education about glasses, which I think we should add to our show.
All right.
All right.
Let's make that a resolution for 2016.
2016?
We will feature glassware.
Glassware. So yeah, other than that, I gotta say this beer right away off the starting line is absolutely fantastic. Um,
Good way to start 2016.
agreed.
Yep.
That and a
Um,
Chinese market crash, but
the
Hmm?
what?
Chinese market crash. You guys have.
Yeah, oh yeah, well yeah, that is true. I was a little sad about that.
I mean, it's hard to say. Canada's probably pretty shielded. Like, it's probably not going to affect us a lot. But the global fucking economy is about to take another one of those sort of moves.
Yeah, it's gonna
Doing
take.
that a lot these days, huh?
It's so silly. But of course, who knows? They might rally as well.
Yeah.
Um, probably the big news actually in my world today was kicking myself that I hadn't bought Netflix stock because it jumped $10 today. Um, because Netflix opened in an additional 130 countries, making Netflix a global player.
Okay.
The
So
countries.
jump by
Oh.
$10. What was the share price?
Um, 40 to
So
50.
like $10 is nothing if that's like a half percentage
Oh,
point.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, no. It went from. Hang on, I will tell you because I have my portfolio here that I look at once in a while and cry.
You have a
quietly to myself.
portfolio?
I do have a portfolio.
You're an idiot.
Is it worth anything?
No.
So yeah, so Netflix jumped to 117. So I wish that I had
So
bought.
say,
I actually wish I had
just
bought
under
stock like a
10%.
year ago. But anyway, so the whole point being is that they are now a global player. They're available in most countries on the planet that have internet, and which is they've completed. This is basically their next jump. That they're available everywhere except Afghanistan, China, and Syria or something. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other little countries in there somewhere that I don't have a list of. But
You and I both know that in China and Syria, they'll be fucking pirating that shit.
no, of course they will.
Probably not Afghanistan, but
But although granted, the amount of state-sponsored hacking that China does, you just never know. So anyway, so that's kind of the big news for my day specifically, the 6th of January, 2016. And of course, the other big news is that I was at the veterinary hospital today for about 6 hours.
what's going on? I saw that in the email.
Shane was getting fixed.
I just got the whole thing taken off. No, Saren, a couple of days ago, although this is not really that attached to beer, but anyway, I was drinking beer and I noticed that my dog couldn't pee. Well, I could marry those together, at least properly. So I took her to the vet, and the vet's like, "That's weird. Something's definitely changed," because she had an infection in her bladder a little while ago. They weren't sure why it was or what sort of caused it. I mean, because she has a dog that sits around, not moving most of the time, so it is a concern. So we've been made aware of it ages ago, and so we're hyper aware of sort of how she's performing in her, only duty she has is to go outside and do her business. So, long story short, took her to the hospital, took her to the vet yesterday, and they said, take her to the hospital tomorrow. So took her to the hospital, and they did a procedure called a hydro something or other, which I'm sure is done with beer, lager most likely. And we're basically.
Lager, I don't even know her.
But for all you boys out there, cross your legs and cringe a little bit, because essentially what they do is they take your thing and they jam a thing in your thing all the way up into your bladder and suck out all the stones that accumulate and flush your bladder out with saline. So not the best procedure to have, but they had to do it because crystals and stones that form in your private nether areas are very painful. So and they also can harbor bacteria that cause infection. So yeah. Other than that, so essentially, long story short, being at the hospital for quite some time, having to deal with procedure after procedure, and of course watching my credit card scream with utter. It was so sad. Over the holidays last year, I saved a whole bunch of money to make sure that I was paying off my credit card. Got it down to like 0. Not anymore. Dropped another $2,000 on that sucker just to make sure my dog was not going to die horribly. So here's to medical health care in the United States of America as human beings, and in Canada, that's what pets get, is the U.S. system.
Yes, absolutely.
But hey, she's resting comfortably now. She's much happier than she was a couple days ago, so I can't complain.
So we just had Christmas. Did anybody get anything beer related for Christmas?
Nope. Not me.
No.
I didn't, but I got something just as good.
Nice.
I got my special beer opener.
What is that?
There's no can that's gonna withstand my might. I got a fancy.
Did you get like
knife.
a switched razor blade?
It is a knife razor blade. It's a knife that has a razor blade on the end that you can replace
so you
quite easily.
Kill yourself?
No, it's meant for opening beer cans that are stubborn.
Really?
Stuff like that. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's something that I've wanted for a while, and my father picked it up for me. So, because it's one thing to have knives, it's one thing to have a knife with a removable blade, with a nice handle. What else did I get? What else? Dave, I know that I sent you a present. Oh no, I didn't. I just sent you a picture of your own penis. So it's basically a blank piece of paper that I put in an envelope. Oh my God, I'm such a dick. So no, other than that, I got nothing that was beer related. I got chocolate and stuff like that.
You could dip the chocolate in the beer.
This is true. This is actually. I'll be right back. What did you end? What kind of haul did you guys take in there, Dave and Locke?
So I got a lot of socks. That was
you are tall, and tall people go through socks faster. Or something about the Earth's gravitational pull.
Very awesome socks. Wallaby hair socks from Tasmania.
That is awesome.
Wallaby hair socks. Yeah.
Are they as itchy as they sound?
No. They're almost like Angora wool.
Oh, all right.
Awesome. They're great. Yeah, comfortable, warm. Wearing them right now.
That's pretty awesome.
So I got that. I got got a book of maps. That was exciting. Historical maps.
Oh.
And let me see. I got a pair of boots that I actually went to the store and selected myself, and then gave them to my father to give me for Christmas. So
Dad, I want these boots. I got them all.
It saved both of us a lot of time, and at this age, I think that's wisdom right there.
This is true.
Yeah, no, it's not too bad. It's good.
I got these, which got me to go to Star Wars again twice.
Sweet.
Yeah, so some gift cards from the cinema. Dave,
so that makes for you what, 3 or 4 times?
I've been 3 times now.
Okay.
What about you, Dave? How many times have you seen the movie?
You've seen it once?
I've seen it once.
All right, so we can talk about it now.
Well, we can't talk about we can't list
It's still too
Well,
early. I think it's still
Okay,
be
we can wait.
spoilers.
We can wait.
we can say how we felt about it, but we can't say anything about the plot.
Yo,
What did you
practical
feel
effects.
about it, Dave?
It brought tears to my eyes. In a good way.
Oh, that's good. I liked it.
Guys.
I felt like I was a 10-year-old kid again. I cared about the characters. It kind of made me. I've been a bit of a prequel apologist, a bit. Like I didn't like the prequels, and I've never said that I actually liked the prequels except for Episode 3. But I've never thought that they were as bad as everybody else said. And
I thought
watching
3
this
was the
movie,
worst.
really? No, 3 was the best out of them.
Whatever else I'll say about what the prequels, the downside. When I saw, I enjoyed them for what they were. They weren't great Star Wars, but they were some Star Wars, and that's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But when I saw the anti-cheese version of those movies, I was like, yeah, this is better.
It didn't make the
I
films
saw the
awesome, but it made them
anti-cheese.
better.
I saw the anti-cheese version of Episode 1. It made it a little bit better. Still not great though. And I never really liked Episode 1. I remember Shane and I saw Episode 1 together on opening night. I waited in line for like 15 hours or something to go see that movie. I had more fun in line than I did in the actual movie. And when we left, I remember saying to Shane, well, that movie sucked. And Shane turned to me and said, oh, I liked it. And I think he sees the error of his ways.
All these years
now.
later, I know that I was wrong.
Yes. I think it was like 2 in the morning. It was like almost 2:30 in the morning when we got out of the movie, and I think we were just kind of like drunk on. I don't think we were really too sure what we just watched. So maybe like the safe answer was like I liked it, but I didn't.
You were drunk on the
This
hate.
one.
Feel
This
your
one.
hate.
He was embracing his anger.
But this one was really good. Like I had a really good time. Now, and I can say this: I watched it in 3D, and I'm not a 3D fan.
I too watched it in the 3 dimensions.
I avoid watching movies in 3D wherever possible. But at the time when I bought my tickets, 3D was the only option available to me. So that's what I went with. And I was absolutely blown away at the clarity and the detail in the 3D. Because I find sometimes with the 3D, it's kind of like stuff is fuzzy when it shouldn't be fuzzy, and it gives me a headache and all that. This didn't. In fact, there was one scene where a ship is pointing out of the screen, and it's like pointing at you in the face, and it seems so lifelike. I actually wanted to. My urge was to bring my hand up and touch it with my finger. Of course, it wasn't actually there, but I mean, I was in a packed theater, and I could hear people around me gasp when they saw this ship, like it's basically sitting in their lap. It kind of made me wonder, how does that work depending on your vantage point where you're sitting in the theater, right? Like, say if you're sitting in the front row, is it like pointing down at you? Or are you seeing sort of like the underside of it a little bit, and it's pointing above you?
I think we'll have to make an experiment of this. And
The way they do
No, it's not a hologram. I know that. But I mean, how does it point out straight at you no matter where you're sitting in the theater?
The magic isn't about actually sending something 3-dimensionally out, projecting it that way. The magic is in you've got one eye sees one angle from the camera, the other eye sees the other angle from the camera, and so it's those two eyes coming together, those two camera angles coming together that makes the illusion happen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So no matter where you are in the theater, you're going to see the same vantage point
Well,
as somebody
I mean,
over on the other side of the theater.
I'll be honest. I haven't experimented with that. I don't know if there's no difference. I mean,
Because here's my
it'd be interesting to try it out.
The one time I saw it, I was sitting off to the side. I wasn't in the middle. I was at the very side of the theater, and the first time the opening scroll came up, I was amazed at how it wasn't off center for me, even though I was off center. It was still centered for me, which was interesting.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it before, but it was kind of like, why is this centered for me when I'm not sitting in the middle of the theater?
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting point.
Does 3D make it so that every seat in the house is the best seat?
Well, look, I think you want to try to do that. That's obviously, if you can pull that off, you're doing your job right. But I mean, again, I think the point to remember is that what makes the illusion is that it's not one three-dimensional camera that makes it work. It's two two-dimensional cameras, right? And so it's your brain processing what would be two different images if you were, that golden point in between the two where the eye. Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, and that said, it's not necessarily clear to me that a good 3D image, like on an IMAX screen or something like that, is necessarily the same art as if you were building it for like a VR helmet.
Yeah.
But I mean, I suspect there are subtleties for the guys who really know what they're doing in terms of what technology you're using to deliver that. But it's about having the two different angles on the camera rather than an objectively three-dimensional experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are we done talking about Star Wars?
Yeah, I mean, I'm good for now. Let's save that for when we can talk spoilerish.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, good point.
So there was a bit of news that came out today, this morning, in fact. This relates to beer. We talked about this in an earlier episode, maybe a couple weeks before our last episode. So some guy in Halifax, I guess it was, had found a bottle of Alexander Keith's beer at the bottom of Halifax Harbor. And the markings on the bottle mean that it was manufactured sometime between 1872 and 1890. So there's a bit of a development with that today. The beer was given to a guy who runs a brewery, and they put it through some scientific testing because the bottle wasn't full. It was only like half full or something. So they don't really know how that happened. But anyway, they tested it, and it is actually beer, and it was drinkable. So the scientists and this guy drank this 120-year-old beer, at least 120-year-old, and they said it actually tasted pretty good. So they can use this in addition to notes that breweries made back in those times, and to recreate what beers tasted like in about 1870. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that we could see a craft beer that is supposedly a carbon copy of what people in 1870 would have drunk it.
Cool.
I thought that was kind of cool. I'd like to try that.
Yeah, yeah. There's a guy. I've got his book. I've met the guy. Who styles himself the Indiana Jones of alcohol.
How the
I'm
hell
not
do you do that?
He is the guy, the point man on Dogfish Head's, what is it called, Midas Touch or something like that?
Mm.
And what they found was the tomb of the man who we suppose corresponds, roughly historically speaking, to the legend of King Midas.
Mm.
And they had old clay vessels with actual residue from their contents. And so what he is he's an archaeologist / biochemist. And what he did was he went in and analyzed this to determine what the residue was, like what chemically was in these vessels, and then got together with an actual brewery and tried to recreate the beverage as closely as they could. Now, a little bit of license was taken there, is my understanding, but they tried to make it pretty authentic. I've had them. I don't know if you can still get it. I'm not sure if it's still on the market, but I'll be honest and say that it was pretty over the top flavor-wise. Like it was sort of like those. I don't know if you had any of those sort of like wine cask aged beers kind of thing.
Mm.
It was sort of like that. So a lot of flavors going on. Potentially, you wouldn't want to have 2 or 3 of them. One was enough.
Right.
But it's very
interesting experience, right?
Yeah. So, but anyway, I mean, that's something from like we're talking like 200 BC. The idea of recreating something from the late 19th century. That's a lot more plausible and probably a lot more palatable, I'm going to guess.
Well, he was saying that sort of like he had he could definitely detect sulfur in it. Now I don't know if that's just just a product of it sitting around for at least 120 years, or if that was. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, they can take out the yeast out of this and culture the yeast. And actually brew beer with the same yeast that's 120 years old, which is interesting. Wow. I mean, it's like, they should be able to. I would think. Wouldn't they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if they can do dry yeast. Yeah. Then I gotta suppose that it being dry doesn't necessarily rule out the possibility of bringing the sucker back, right?
Yeah. Jurassic beer.
Jurassic beer.
We'll have a coupon day.
Yeah. So like scientists, learned a bunch of stuff from other people, stood on the shoulders of great men, and they didn't stop for a second to wonder whether or not they actually should. That is the worst Jeff Goldblum I've ever done.
You gotta bang the table while you're doing it. They want to.
I don't know. I was getting a Jeff vibe there. I think you're selling yourself a bit short.
That's easy for Shane to do.
Oh, seriously?
Sorry.
Sucker, I am taller than Dave.
I'm so sorry.
Not by much.
The only one that can pull that one off is Locke.
Thank you.
And Locke doesn't even need to. He just needs to look down and go, "Shut up."
Yeah.
Wow.
How's the weather down there, boys?
Shane, are you really taller than Dave?
By like that much.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
Now, I to be honest, I've seen you guys side by side tons of times. I've never really even really thought about it. Interesting. Sorry for the slag. I didn't mean to, especially on our first podcast.
I'm drinking my beer now.
Tune in next week for the Crafty Boy, not featuring him.
Oh, by the way, the
Oh,
Indiana
I'm sorry, Alan. We must have recorded on Saturday. That's so weird. Sorry, Locke, you were saying?
Oh, yeah. I was just going to mention, Buddy's name is McGovern.
McGovern, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Actually, I've thought a lot about yeast lately because of all the beer we've been reviewing. And I was told by a couple of friends of mine a little while back over here in Van about a friend of theirs because I said, oh yeah, we did this podcast, we're doing it for fun, it's kind of cool. And he's like, well, you should have on your show. And I'm like, oh really? He's like, yeah, I know my friend. I'm like, oh cool, why? He's like, well, he really wanted to have a lot of new beer brewing tools from Europe. And I said, oh, that's kind of cool. What did he do? Apparently, he took a cloth, took this cloth and wiped his butt with it. No. And soaked it up, got it damp, sorry. And he was riding his motorbike through parts of Europe. And while he was doing this, he actually collected yeast out of the air on this cloth, and was took it back and started using it for brewing here in BC. So
Wow.
but that's pretty fucking hardcore, I gotta say.
And did they indicate like how his brews have turned out with that?
He just did it like not too long ago. I gather he's already brewed some. So as soon as I hear, I'll let you know because I'm kind of curious about.
Yeah, I am. I mean, you would think that would. I mean, brewing is a pretty controlled thing, and that adds a lot of craziness and chaos to your brew.
Well, I mean, he's been trying. I gather he's been trying to find a particular yeast of some sort from Europe that is apparently like all that.
So he's gonna find it just.
It's a wild yeast he's trying to catch. That's sort of cool.
It is exactly, and so he's basically testing and brewing all this beer in his house, trying to find this particular yeast.
Wow.
I've never met the guy, so I don't know a whole lot. But,
well, I tell you what, once he's done actually brewing, and he actually has product, we should maybe get him on.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find out if he's around. But it is kind of cool. It was one of those moments where you're like, I thought I liked beer. No, I hate beer. Apparently, I am not the biggest lover of beer. There are still people out there that they are just hardcore, hard. But overall, so actually, now we had a bunch of Christmas beers on the show. What are there any beers that we might have missed that we should have done?
Oh, probably tons.
That we know of.
Well, we had talked about doing Slayer by Ninkasi, but we had problems finding it.
And then
so we never ended up doing it.
No, we couldn't. I couldn't find it out here. It's sad because I was at the beer store today and last week, and I found all kinds of the same brewer. But still, I could not find that one collection that we all wanted to get. So.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna have to be the one that got away, I guess, unless they release it again next year.
I hope they do because I am convinced it's the best beer in the world.
There was a couple, and I don't have the specific names with me or the breweries that did them, but I saw a couple of gingerbread ales
Nice.
that I thought would be kind of cool.
Hmm.
We never tried any of those. Now, while we're still on the topic of Christmas beers, Shane,
Yes.
we both got the Parallel 49 and Central City Craft Crossing
Yes.
Advent calendar. Now, I'm still haven't finished mine. I'm way behind. Like I'm on December 15th or something.
Wow.
Where are you on yours? Finish it.
I did finish, but it's sad to say that my finishing was basically going and taking the beer and sharing it with Allison only just 2 or 3 days ago. It was
there
actually
any good Christmas-y ones in there that
I would want to have again.
that you'd like to mention here? I know that there's one that I tried from it that I didn't like, but it was interesting. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it was basically brewed with pine needles.
I know the one you're talking about.
And it was absolutely disgusting.
I don't remember the name of it though.
It was made by Parallel 49,
Yeah.
and it tasted like a beer. And imagine you have like a mug of half decent beer, and you go out to the forest, and there's all these pine needles and moss and everything on the ground, and you pick up a handful of that and dump it in your beer, and then drink it. That's what it tasted like.
It was. I can't really remember, but I know exactly what you're talking about. It was not. It was not awesome. I mean,
it was interesting. I'm glad I tried it.
It was a good experiment, true.
But I don't think I'd ever have it again.
I mean, well, there were definitely some in that selection that I would not really enjoy having again because they were. I mean, granted, a lot of that stuff was experimental, I guess. Stuff that knew they were going to do once and maybe never again. And I think that, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's obvious that they didn't really have a lot of faith in the beer. They went as far as, I don't know, making them and probably being excited.
It seemed like they were reaching a bit.
So it was
that's a better way.
But not one where they're committed to the idea of having a successful one.
Yeah, so they were just experimenting for the sake of experimenting.
Which is fair. Yeah.
It is. In something like that where you got a case of 24 and you got to come up with some original ideas for it.
Yeah.
I mean...
This one tastes like pine. How much did it taste? A lot of pine? Was it a clean product kind of pine?
No.
Not quite that
it
extreme.
Sort of had a musty kind of. A musty kind of moldy. I don't know.
It tasted like beer that was sitting at the bottom of the ocean in a bottle for a while.
So here's one of the grim realities of 2016, because it is 2016.
What?
We've left 2015. We are now in 2016.
Oh,
am I right?
Yeah, apparently.
We're in 2016. It's sort of weird, but I mean, there's still some outstanding historical stuff, interests, projects that I've been worming my way through over the last while that I got a fair bit done over the holidays here, enough to sort of break the back of the thing. But the weird thing is this: I'm kind of through my fascination with history. History's been my guiding light for the last decade. Well, the last 8 years. And now, for whatever reason, 2016 happened, and I just sort of oh, wait a minute. Oh, you know what? I remember how much fun plastic is. And neon lights and batteries and it's I don't know what's come over me, but I'm on this trip where I'm like really like I don't know what to say. The idea of a beer that's modeled after futuristic smelling cleaning products is all of a sudden really exciting to me. I mean, who's done that? Is that a thing? Has somebody done that? I don't know if they have. And it's sort of like, oh, what would happen? Is there a cherry cola flavor of beer? What would happen if there were?
Actually, I'd try that.
I
think that would rock.
I'm game. We've talked about wanting to brew our own beer. Let's go crazy.
Let's do it.
Beer with this I know exists. You can get like the 7-Up version of beer, like with limon, as it were. They've got those apple beers, which taste like apple candies more like they taste like actual apples.
Yes.
I don't know. Previously I didn't like those. I should try them now that I'm on my new sort of like weird like future vision and see if I like them now. I might like the fact that they taste artificial. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right,
boys. I think that's a good warm-up in 2016. Any words before we conclude for the day?
Yeah, I think we're about ready to start the podcast now.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, I'll start the broadcast.
So I got to show off my the shirt that my wife got me for Christmas. She got this for me for the podcast, so I'm wearing it today. This is gonna be. I'm not gonna wear this for every single cast, but.
This guy.
I'm liking it.
Sorry, but the bottom part was I couldn't see it because of the thing that.
Okay.
A beer.
This guy needs a beer. And I'm going to wear this to Beer Fest, I think.
Very nice.
That's a good shirt.
All right, so I had to show that off. So thank you, wifey, for getting me that shirt.
Very cool.
All right.
All right, boys.
She's a keeper.
Yes.
Locke is on Twitter. Dave is on Twitter. Alan is on Twitter. I am on Twitter. The podcast is on Twitter. And the reason I bring up Twitter is that I wanted to ask one question to Locke. Locke, you retweeted some stuff at some point over the holidays. What happened? You found your password?
Oh yeah, no. I just it's my new thing with the being like all into like cherry Coke and stuff. I was like the internet. I'm gonna fucking do some internet.
It's awesome.
That's kind of awesome.
Wow.
Oh, too funny. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And we will see you next week, where, of course, we're awesome. You're awesome. Let's all lose our shirts.